kind of on there pretty thick. I'll squirt it all the way around. Pretty much right in here is where I'm going to hit it with the hammer. Pretty much the idea is to get this part of the hammer in between the wheel and the bead, just to break the seal. Sometimes you can get it one shot, sometimes you have to beat like crazy, but just like that. There's really no way to kind of explain how to swing and get that aim, you know, to hit in there. But when I was first taught, was just kind of aim for the wheel, just a little bit before it, and if you got enough lube, it'll slide itself in. You know, you don't want to go straight down. I see some guys, they just beat straight down. You want to kind of hook it in, and you know, once you put that lube in there, it'll let it glide in. See, anybody else doing this, they would have had to pick it up and flip it over. All we're going to do is just drop it. I got a moving blanket that I use. Some guys on other videos have kind of got on me about not using it, you know, damaging wheels. Well, in certain cases, I don't need to use it. I'm just showing this on my basic video here. But pretty much set it up, and just like that, if some tires you can, you know, hit it down hard enough, it'll break. If not, then just use your hammer. And I use this, get it nice and lubricated. If you have a stubborn tire, wheel rusted, something old, the older version of the drop center, where the drop center is more square and not roundish, kind of a pain to take off. If you know it's going to be like that, then got Murphy soap, which I've already showed in another video how to use. You would do both sides like this. You know, make sure it's in the bead, come off easier. I use 2 bars here. One is a dismount mount bar. One is a curved spoon bar. Some guys like to use 2 of these. I like to use just these 2. Makes it a little bit easier. You want to start with this side, putting it in the bead, like this. Just like this. Get it in the bead. This knuckle here is going to go on the top of the wheel, just like this. And hold in one hand, I'll come with the other one. I don't know, give it about a foot space or so. And I'll usually pull with this one. This is the one with the leverage on it. Might get hung up where you need to kick it down in the drop center, which this one, no problem. Just come over, and then I come over with the spoon. Once I do that, I can pretty much leave the dismount mount bar there. It's not going anywhere. And I'll take out the spoon. A lot of guys have trouble because they pull it out. When I use this spoon, there's nothing to hang it up. I can just twist it out. And then I'll find the gap in between the tire and the wheel, because there's usually a little gap in here. And I'll put it in and kind of work it so it gets down farther enough. Put in the wheel, 2 hands, pull it over. Pretty easy. What I'll do is take this one out now. Some guys use this side, but I use this side. There's a little notch usually. I've got 1 bar without the notch because sometimes it gets in the way. But what you want to do is when you pick up the wheel, you want to put this in between the bead and the wheel, and then pull back on the bar, and this notch will actually hit the wheel, and then you can take it off. So hopefully you can see this. We'll pick it up, and we're going to take this bar in an angle, and I use my knee or my side of my hip just to give it some space. Put it in here. Make sure that notch is over the wheel. Out. My notch is already out. Here it is. And then what you're going to do is I hold the handle, the bar, and I kind of let go of the tire at the same time, and it'll come off. Sometimes they don't come off that easy, a little bit harder. We got to get a couple bites to take it off, but that's pretty much it. Now a lot of people always, I've seen a few videos, people say I need to get the Wonder Bar and the Golden tool. Well, actually, I have one. I just like to do the videos with bars because that's the old school way. That was the way I was taught. And sometimes you need to use the bars to make sure you can still do it. But here's my wonder bar, which is Gaither's version of the Golden Tool. Everybody knows the Golden Tool, but Gaither actually came out with one just like it. Pretty much same idea. It's a replica. Nothing different. And it works the same. Parts from both are interchanged, from what I was told anyway. But I will use this when I got a lot of tires to do, or if I want to use it on aluminum wheels so I don't scratch it with the bars. And what I'll do with this is actually when you come around with it, it's got a roller so it doesn't scratch. But what happens is dirt gets in there and it gets all gritty, is I'll just use a rag up under it. But I'll show you that in a second. Here's our used tire. It's already been blowed out. Make sure it's clean. You want to just make sure this bead is clean. Sometimes you take off a wheel, it's pretty clean. You don't have to worry about it. I go through the motions pretty quick, so I spot a lot of this stuff out when it seems like I don't. Valve stem's good. I say we're just putting a used tire on for about a week, and then we're going to put some new ones on. So this Murphy silk's not all the way diluted, but it'll work. And when you lube a tire up, hold your swab kind of in an angle like this so you can get the side of the bead. It'll help air it up a lot easier, and to put it on it'll be a lot easier. So pretty much when you go to put this on, you want to go with the tire. Don't jump on it, just kind of go with it. One hand here, the other one here, and what you're going to do is kind of throw it on. It's not going to go on all the way. Certain tires will, but just go with it, push it, make sure it's on there. You know, I could have probably pushed a little harder and would have made it, but they'll come with one knee. That one went on pretty easy. And then I'll lift this up to hang it over the wheel. Get my mounting bar, make sure the dirt is off. And I'll stomp my feet before I get on, make sure you don't get any dirt in the bead. And I'll just space my feet apart. And then just start. And what I'll do is I come around, I'll leave my right foot posted and only move my left foot until I know it's on. And here's kind of a little argument. I usually will stop here, take my bar out, put it in there, do it. Some guys will take the hammer and beat this like crazy. I don't like to do it because you damage the bead. Some guys will tell you it doesn't damage it. Well, you do what you want to do. But I'm just telling you from experience, there's times you can hit it, you know, if it's something that's not that big, but other times when you have a big space like this and you're hitting it with a hammer, you're pretty much damaging it. Here's one trick. Say this space here is too short, and you can't really put your bar up under there, it's too tight. Take your other bar, put it across the wheel like this, and you just use it for leverage. Put it down, push down on this, and it'll lift the bead up and slide it in. And then come over. That's it. Hopefully that'll give some guys a little bit of knowledge. You know, take what you can get from this video. If you don't like it, go find you another channel to watch. But I'm going to show you how my dismount tool works. Pretty much these two right here is what's going to get the first bead. You got to take it over, come back and grab the second bead. But just put it right here. You want to stomp on it and make sure it locks in there and grabs the first bead. Then you just want to come around and I kind of shake it. You know, some guys get hung up and they get all mad and think the tool's not working. Well, you just kind of shake it as you go. And this is where, if this was an aluminum wheel, I'd actually have this folded up, and I'll put it up under this roller here. I don't know if you can see, but I'll put it under the roller and come around. What you might have to do is stand on the tire, and as you come around, take it off. I make sure it doesn't come out from the wheel. Come back over, and you have to actually catch the bottle bead. So I go down. You might have to bounce the tire like that, and you'll hear it when it catches. Come back. You take it off. You got an aluminum wheel. Make sure the tool doesn't drop down like that because it'll scratch it up. But this right here will save you so much time. And you might not have to damage the wheel, you know, buy a new wheel for damaging it or anything, but it's pretty easy to use. I just don't use it, you know, in my videos. A lot of people can't afford to buy it or don't want to buy it because they don't do a lot of tires. I do quite a bit of tires, so it actually saves my back some. But that's about it. As far as airing up, I have to use a Cheeto on this. Pretty much everybody knows how to use it, I think. Pretty much, there's a gauge on it. I've never seen one that's been in use that the actual gauge works. Because all the bouncing around and using it, the gauge stops working. So you can go out and buy one, or it does have a little safety valve. Me just having so much experience using this, I know when it's full. You can hear by the sound, and you only need but so much anyway. That's about it. That'll do. I use a locking ear check. And what you want to do is, sometimes you might have to reverse this wheel. And I use this to lean it up against the tailgate of my truck, so it'll actually push the tire out. Like right here, just like this. But this one's pretty good, so we should be able to stick it in. I'll show you. In the wheel, it's pretty much how I work. Lock your air truck onto it, doesn't matter where it's at. Make sure it's locked on. I usually come opposite of the stem. Quick little shot that's on